Hi everyone, welcome to today's Daily Lent Reflection. Today's Wednesday, March 28th, and it's the Wednesday of Holy Week. Our opening scripture readings that we're reflecting on come from Isaiah 50 verses 4 to 9 and Matthew 26 verses 14 to 25. Our opening quote is Matthew 26 verses 15 and 16. Quote, "They paid him 30 pieces of silver, and from that time on he kept looking for an opportunity to hand him over." End quote. And our reflection for today is Judas the Traitor. Judas Iscariot is the ultimate enigma. As Holy Week comes around each year, it is only natural for us to seek more information about this man whose name has become synonymous with treachery and betrayal. We know for sure that Judas was the one of the 12, especially chosen by Jesus to be his disciple. We have no reason to doubt that he received the same training as other disciples. All four evangelists tell us that he was the betrayer of Jesus. Matthew tells us that he hanged himself. Though the gospel accounts indicate that the initiative to betray Jesus always comes from Judas, they do not offer us any clear understanding of his motivation. John's gospel gives us a clue that greed may have been the source of Judas's downfall. It was Judas who loudly complained when Mary anointed the feet of Jesus with costly perfume. Quote, "He did not say this out of concern for the poor, but because he was a thief. He held the purse, and used to help himself to what was deposited there." End quote. And that quote is from John 12, verse 6. It is clear, too, from verses 14 and 15, that Judas worked out a financial deal with the chief priest before agreeing to hand him over. Jesus' condemnation of the act of Judas is about as severe as one could imagine. Quote, "The Son of Man is departing, as Scripture says of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Better for him if he had never been born." End quote. And that quote comes from Matthew 26, verse 24. Yet the church has admonished preachers and teachers not to say that Judas is definitely in hell. Matthew does say that Judas experienced remorse or regret over his betrayal and flung the money back into the temple. You can read more about that in Matthew 27, verses 3 to 8. Theologians and preachers have sometimes speculated that perhaps his remorse and regret did not come too late. There is an interesting passage in Matthew's account of the Passover meal. Quote, "In the course of the meal he said, 'I assure you that one of you is about to betray me.' Distressed at this, they began to say to him one after another, 'Surely it is not I, Lord.'" End quote. And that quote comes from Matthew 26, verses 21 and 22. For 30 pieces of silver, Judas sold himself, not Christ. Perhaps that is the most basic lesson of Spy Wednesday. We have been called to be faithful disciples of the Lord. His grace is sufficient for our discipleship. To betray him is, in the most profound sense, to destroy ourselves. Our closing prayer comes from Philippians 2, verses 10 and 11. Quote, "At Jesus' name, every knee must bend in the heavens, on earth, and under the earth, and every tongue proclaim to the glory of God the Father, Jesus Christ is Lord." End quote. And our practice for today is, "Today I will recommit myself in love and fidelity to the Lord." So that's it for today. Have a wonderful Wednesday, a wonderful Spy Wednesday, and we'll see you all tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.